to build the country for the next generation. And we began safety, knowledge, technologies, innovation. Now the question is, what can we bring to the entire world? The future. Welcome to the Future Innovation Summit.
Your Highnesses, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is a great pleasure to welcome all of you to the Future Innovation Summit. Before I start, I would like to thank Nicola Said, soprano, and Tala Tutunji, the pianist, for the great and amazing UAE's anthem performance. Let's give them a big round of applause. My name is Hussein Said. I'm the anchor for Bursat Al-Alam Show at CNBC Arabia. I'm also the chief market strategist for Xfinity, and it's my great honor to be your host today. In a period of less than 50 years, the UAE has achieved many milestones in the medical, educational, technological, and social arenas. It has also witnessed impressive economic and urban revolutions.
Today we are all gathered here for a simple reason. It's because this country is also leading destination for innovators and entrepreneurs in the tech, healthcare, medical, real estate, blockchain, NFT, you name it. And today, Future Innovation Summit, under the patronage of the private office of Sheikh Sagar bin Mohammed Al Qasimi, is the first of its kind to bring all the experts and talents from different fields to share their knowledge and lay the foundation for the future vision and innovation for the world. Thanks to the tremendous effort by Adnan al-Nourani, Yana Leonova, and all the team working behind the scenes for this fabulous job. And you also deserve a big round of applause. Of course, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all the sponsors for your trust in us. Without your contribution and support, this event would not have been a success. A special thanks to all the speakers from the public and private sectors, locally and internationally. There's a lot to learn from you over the next 2 days, and I'm looking forward to that. Last but not least, thanks to all of you who came from more than 30 countries to attend this summit, and I wish you a very successful and fruitful event, and I hope you enjoy the next 2 days with us. So today's agenda is a very busy one. We will be discussing educational shifts, the technological shifts, the blockchain revolution in the country. We'll be discussing real estate, the Vision 2040 for the UAE, and many other stuff. But now I would like to be joined on stage by a representative of His Highness Sheikh Saqr bin Muhammad Al-Qasimi, by Chairman Adnan al-Nourani. He's the chairman of the board of the private office for the Sheikh Saqr bin Muhammad Al-Qasimi, and is also the founder of the Future Innovation Summit. So please join me in welcoming Chair Adnan al-Nourani.
Ladies and gentlemen, first I need to speak in Arabic because this is our culture and this is our tradition. If you allow me, please. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سادة الكرام، نود أن نفتتح قمة المستقبل للابتكار النسخة الأولى. شكرا للشيخ صقر بن محمد القاسمي والدوائر الحكومية. أشكر سعادة سلطان بن مجرن من دائرة الأراضي والأملاك وفريق عمله، ونشكر هيئة المعرفة دكتور عبد الله بن كرم وفريق عمله، ونشكر هيئة الصحة الدكتور رمضان البلوشي وفريق عمله، ونشكر دبي للأوراق المالية وفريق عمله والشركات المشاركة والداعمة. شكرا وتقبل فاق التقدير. شكرا، مع السلامة.
Thank you, Adnan. And now we will begin with Vision 2040. I mean, I've been living in this city for the past 16 years, and I was, even before that, early in the 80s and 90s. And I saw this transformation that I don't think any country managed to reach in just 2 or 3 decades. So let's try to imagine together 2040. I don't know, maybe flying cars, different kind of transportation, everything is on the blockchain. 20 years, it's something like surprising how the city will be. And for this, we have special guests to be discussing how the city will look like, or the UAE in 2040. So I would like to invite Maya Al-Hawari. She will be moderating a very special panel. Maya, she's the first PhD scholar to research emotional intelligence, and she's also the chairperson of the Board of Governance at Dubai Carmel School. So please put your hand together to Maya Al-Hawari.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much. This is such a beautiful event, and I think Dubai is back. Alhamdulillah, we believe so, post-Corona. Distinguished guests, Sheikh Sagar bin Mohammed, سعادة السلطان بن مجرن، سعادة عبد الله الكرم، شيخ الجواهر الخليفة، مرحبا بكم. سعادة عدنان النوراني، شكرا لكم جميعا على وجودكم هنا. Today, I will be speaking in English, no worries. So welcome everybody, all our guests coming from the different countries around the world. Today will be a special and unique panel discussion that includes special and unique people from different sectors in the United Arab Emirates, specifically in Dubai. So let me go ahead and introduce our guests first so we can start off the panel discussion. So our first guest will be His Excellency Adnan Noorani, Chairman of the Board of Private Office of Sheikh Sagar bin Mohammed Al Qasimi and Group of Companies, also the founder and inspiration of this Future Innovation Summit. Kindly please come on stage. Thank you. Round of applause, you guys. Our next guest is Dr. Engineer Saad Al-Shamsi, and she's our UAE's first aircraft female engineer and aviation advisor of ORAT, of Abu Dhabi Airport New Terminal Midfield Project. We're proud of you. Come on. We're proud of our women in the Emirates, alhamdulillah. Very unique. Thank you. And she's the only one on the panel, the female, plus me. Our next guest is Mr. Faisal Sajwani, Chief Commercial Officer at Al Qatar Manpower. He's also an entrepreneur, board member, C-level executive, advisor, business coach, speaker, strategy consultant, investment advisory mentor, mental health and coach and educator. Wow, big round of applause. Please come up on stage. Proud of our young men as well. Please, thank you, Mr. Faisal. Last but not least, Mr. Abdul Karim Al-Zar'ouni, Commercial Customer Relations Manager at Emirates Airline Group, also founder of Cree Design and the Vice President of Al-Zar'ouni Sons Group. Please come up on stage. Give him a round of applause. Thank you. All right, hope that everybody's ready. So, our panel discussion today will be about Dubai's vision to 2040. And you will be kindly asked questions with regards to your expertise and profession. So let me go ahead and start with the introduction first. The Dubai Urban Master Plan 2040 maps out a comprehensive plan for sustainable urban development in Dubai. It focuses on enhancing people's happiness and the quality of life and reinforcing Dubai as a global destination for citizens, residents, and visitors over the next 20 years. The plan has a strategic structural layout integrating all urban development master plans in the Emirates and aligned with Dubai's strategic economic priorities and the needs of the future. Between 1960 and 2020, get this, the population of Dubai has multiplied 80 times from 40,000 in 1960 to 3.3 million people, while the urban and built area of the Emirates increased 170-fold from 3.2 square kilometers. So such a big and wild change, and there's more to come. So our first question goes to Your Excellency Adnan Noorani. Do you see the market today in the Emirates is ready, especially after Corona, to foster great economic activity? The fact that you are within the economic sector, you know very well about all the companies, and how do you see 2040 with all the foreign investments being attracted to Dubai, and how do you see the sectors specifically, how do you see it booming in terms of economic terms?
Ladies and Ladies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to be in this great event. I'm today proud to see a lot of Emiratis are here sitting. I'm proud of my nation and my country. And also, we also imagine the United Arab Emirates is gathering more than 120 nationalities in this lovely country to gather their cultures and their ideas and their knowledge. I believe that UAE did a great job in COVID-19. As you know, that in healthcare, education, and real estate, and a lot of sectors, they did a great job. Our leaders, actually, thanks to our leaders, they did this great job. I believe that this is the beginning. Expo 2020 is the beginning to the bright future that our nation is going to the correct direction. And you, as you know, that UAE nation, they never give up. We always number one. As Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Allah yahfadha ta'ala umrah, he always say. And I believe now we are focused in the 2040. We already, the leaders, they create the map for the country. And I believe that they are more focusing on the education, healthcare, and how to, and tourism as well. Tourism as well. That how after COVID, what we need to do, how to make UAE and Dubai a smart city, how we gather more knowledge, more income, more businesses. And I believe that after 2-3 years, we will see a new technologies that entering to United Arab Emirates as, let's say, flying taxi or building the third Burj Khalifa, inshallah. Yes. There was an event for Elon Musk. It happened, I think, 8 months before. And one of my friend, he was discussing, telling he was near to Elon Musk stage, and Elon Musk was looking to Burj Khalifa like this and telling, you guys already did it, huh? Yes, I like it. This speech and this moment that from a big person coming, it's make us proud as a country and as a nation that what we success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Dearest Engineer Saad, and this is definitely within your aircraft, since Adnan, His Excellency Adnan Nourani mentioned flying taxis, so that's kind of your cup of tea. So let me go ahead to the question. By 2040, one of the key objectives is to provide sustainable and flexible means of mobility. And one of the outcomes is that Dubai will have achieved the movements of pedestrians from bicycles to sustainable mobility, meaning across the city, will be actually facilitated. From your professional background in aircrafts and in your opinion, how will the aerospace industry invest in this vision?
Well, I think it's working. It's my pleasure being among brilliant people, either from United Arab Emirates or from different country. We are connecting here under one topic, innovation. I remember exactly in 2001 when I participated to build an aircraft in my university. I told our lecturer that one day we will build a real aircraft in United Arab Emirates, and we done it. We done it with Emirates Airline, we done it in Strata, we done it with many companies. And actually, people think that the vision of 2040 it will happen in 2040, but I do believe our vision in the aviation industry will happen before that. If during the impact of COVID, we reached to the Mars, we announced that we are going to Venus. I think we reach into the space before 2040. When Mr. Adnan, he mentioned about the helicopter taxi, it's actually in the plan of 2040 vision of United Arab Emirates. It might happen before that. It's under studying and test. What is happening in aviation and our vision of our leader to reach to the space, to be more in the aviation industry specific. We are running a lot of aircraft full of sustainability. Many of company in United Arab Emirates focusing in how we care about the environment, we care about the passenger, we care how we build the right operation of the aircraft. If I may say, from a couple of days, Etihad Airways been announced their 4th eco flight, flying from Heathrow to Abu Dhabi. It's fully green. And when you ask me, Dr. Maya, what does it mean green? It will be full sustainability. As a passenger, will think, what does it mean? We care about environment, from fuel, from maintenance, from every single thing, which is that from more than 20 years when I was in the university, people think will never happen. And if it happened for a small country, we are of age 50 only, that I think we will be leading many countries worldwide, how that in innovation and sustainability and how reached our target before the year of the target.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure listening to that, actually. Eyes of the future. Thank you. Thank you, Engineer Saad. So, Mr. Faisal Sajwani, with your experience in strategy and being a strategist in consulting as well. So here goes the question. The Dubai 2040 plan also seeks to develop integrated, sustainable housing complexes, integrated communities up to the highest planning standards. From your vast experience in strategy consulting, and in your opinion, how do you see this enhancing human well-being in general? So basically being green, sustainable, trying to be eco-friendly, natural, how is that going to help in the well-being, the future of us human beings? Thank you.
To start with, Your Highnesses, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to the summit. As board member of the private office of Sheikh Saqr bin Mohammed Al Qasimi, we would have you as a pleasure and hope you enjoy these coming days. The issue of sustainability has been roaming around for the past couple of years, and with the pandemic, we've seen dire issues coming into rise. Talks have been done in the World Economic Forum about climate change and the environment deterioration. However, action needs to be taken. So, with the Vision 2040 of Dubai, of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, we see a great plan, a roadmap towards a more sustainable future. Because we do understand that sustainability is the way to move forward and pass on our legacy to the future. Regarding the housing complexes and the integrated communities, these would enhance the quality of life of our citizens and residents in Dubai. Therefore, we would enjoy or promote a vibrant and healthy environment to live in. So Dubai would reinforce its state in the world as being the best city to live in. This would furthermore enhance tourism, attract more foreign direct investments, and so on and so forth. And looking at the projects, one of the most notable ones that I would like to focus on
I was going to
today.
ask you for an example. Please go ahead. Thank you. Yeah.
So one of the examples that I would like to focus on today, and there are many, of course, in 2006 we have Masdar City, which was one of the proof that the UAE is actually on the forefront when it comes to sustainability. And when it comes to Dubai, we have the Mohammed bin Rashid solar panel, which is an initiative towards clean energy. By 2050, we're hoping to have around 75% of our energy from renewable energy produced. So the shift from natural resources towards renewable energy definitely is a big step. And we say that with the solar park, the approach to that there's a lot of international developers included in developing the park itself, which reinforces the strength of the UAE economy and the movement towards the green economy too. So just like to conclude that we are on the forefront of sustainability, and the UAE is here to secure many generations to come, and we will be on the map when it comes to being a net zero economy.
Thank you so much. Such a great speaker, mashallah. I'm impressed. God bless. Thank you so much for that. Last but not least, Mr. Abdul Karim Zar'oni. And as the vice president of Al Zar'oni Sons Group, the group offers a wide range of services, including leasing, sales, property. It also has a reputation of delivering hassle-free management services and also provides owners with more commitment to their business activities. This is not an advertisement by any chance. It's just actual facts. Thank you so much. In your opinion, and in light of the Dubai Urban Master Plan 2040, how do you see the future of real estate evolving to improve the efficiency of resource utilization to create vibrant, healthy, inclusive communities from a real estate perspective? How do you see that changing?
At the beginning, I would like to thank you for the lovely introduction. And thank you for having me here today. It's really amazing to have such a summit. Thank you, Brother Adnan, for initiating this. Basically, we've been talking a lot about innovation, but we never focused deeply into this. And I think the government gave a really support in terms of implementing those new technology ideas to deliver Dubai to the way we're aiming for. Looking to the vision Dubai 2040, it's a really interesting and an impressive vision, to be honest. I will share with you a couple of numbers, and you will see exactly how unique it is. Increasing 132% of hotels and tourism facility, as well as 112% of commercial space in Dubai for the next 18 years is a massive growth. Countries achieving this in 50, 60 years. And our target is within 18 years ahead. And this is a really, give you, first of all, a positive future, I hope, I would say, after what we've been in COVID. Second thing, it gives you a clear vision of where we're aiming to in terms of also maintaining our environment. And nowadays, if you think about it, such goals never goes together. Either you develop a city, focus on the construction, or you go to the nature and just maintaining your nature. And that's what really create luck, I would say, in developing in so many countries. But in Dubai, as we used to think was differently, and as Sheikh Mohammed Rashid said yesterday, UAE is different because we think different. And that's really give us a hope, not for us only as local business owners, even for investors. That Dubai become a solid platform for innovation and for a new opportunity where we think differently, saving environment, being a positive influencer to the environment, at the same time maintaining our growth and business and development. Answering your question, I think Dubai has already started that, and really we're achieving massive change. Giving an example, Dubai is a sustainable city, Sharjah is a sustainable city. So those cities really give an example of we really can develop, we really can shift our aim of developing country in a positive way, increasing income, improving our economy, and at the same time maintaining our economy, our environment. As a private sector, we're trying as our best to be a strategic partner to achieve the government aim by implementing new technology, 3D printing, I would say, for example, using eco-friendly materials, and that's really give us a result of not only achieving sustainable environment, sustainability, as well as really giving us a reduction in the cost of running cost of those projects. So, as a private sector would say, we are going toward that by implementing and introducing new technology, as I said, and we have seen a lot of support from the government, and I think Dubai will achieve the goals of 2020, even 2040, even before that deadline.
Thank you so much, mashallah. Thank you. Such a pleasure having you all. And I know that we're running a little late, but I would like to end by thanking you all and remind our guests that this panel discussion is an introductory to the summit. A very brief note on the different sectors on Dubai's Vision 2040. But His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum doesn't stop here. He actually has a plan until 2071. And we talk about the quality of life. And this past, the main government strategic rules and, if you may, are actually concentrating on 4 things for quality of life. We used to talk about, quality of life, having enough food, shelter, living space, water, and electricity. But today, the United Arab Emirates is focusing more on 4 main strategic goals within the government for 2071. And that is, number 1, health. Number 2, mental health. Number 3, positivity and the improvement of how we think forward in terms of leadership. And last but not least, quality of life. You have to have good enough skills to push forward. So 2040 is the future, but in the United Arab Emirates, we're looking forward to more than just 2040. Thank you so much for our guests. Thank you so much for your information and being here and starting off this summit. I hope we have been light-hearted on all of you, the audience. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mariam, for this amazing moderation. Very interesting panel discussion. And as she mentioned, it's an opening for the rest of today's event and also tomorrow's. So she touched on a couple of things. And we do believe that investing in human capital development, it is essential to building nations. And this is what the UAE have been doing through the past several decades. Without education, we are not where we are today. And who is better to represent this sector other than His Excellency Dr. Abdullah Al-Karam, Director General at Knowledge and Human Development Authority. Please put your hands together to His Excellency Dr. Abdullah Al-Karam.
سمو الشيخ صقر بن محمد القاسمي، سعادة الإخوان الأخوات الأعزاء، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be here with you, and I would like to start by thanking and appreciating the organizers for this inaugural event, and also the sponsors and all of you who made it here this morning. Even though we are going to talk about the 2040, I would like to start by using a very old story that could have happened 100 years ago. And it's an old folk story about an old woman traveling on her donkey through the countryside. She's poor, but she's also very hungry. She comes to a village looking for a food. But when she looks around, she sees that the villagers are also poor and hardly had anything to eat. She picks up a large stone from under a tree in a village square, then takes her big cooking pots from her bag and makes a campfire. A villager came curious and stopped to ask, "What is she doing?" "I am making a stone soup, and I am going to share it with everyone in the village," she says. "But the only thing is that I think I need a bit extra flavor." The poor villager stopped and said, "I have 2 carrots at home. Maybe you can use those." So he goes and comes back, and the old woman puts the carrots in the soup. Another villager sees what's happening and became also curious and asked the old woman, "What is she doing?" "I am making a stone soup," she says, "and I'm going to share it with everyone in the village. But the only thing I think I need is an extra flavor." So the villager stops and thinks and says, "I have an onion at home. And maybe you can use those." So he goes and comes back, and the old woman puts the onion in the soup. Soon enough, more and more villagers became curious. They all go back to their houses and see what food they had. Some bring potato, other villagers bring peas, and other vegetables. Soon, the whole village is gathered around the big pot of soup. And when it was finished, the old woman poured out a serving for each one of them, and the villagers are so grateful, saying, "We never knew we could make such a delicious soup from just a stone." I like this story because it shows that when we bring what we have, we can create something that is bigger than the sum of its parts. We are here today to talk about the future and what we want the future to look like. If we have learned anything in the last 18 months, it is that we cannot create this future alone. The pandemic has shown us how important it is to work together in a common vision and in the pursuit of a common goal. In March 2020, all the schools in Dubai and UAE has switched to distance learning, and that was the only option. During this time, we worked together with our friends across the government departments and look at ways to reopening the school safely. Later, in summer 2020, we announced the first health and safety protocol to enable schools to get back to face-to-face learning. When school opened door in September of 2020, we had almost 50% of the parents and the kids choosing to send their kids to school, and others opted to continue on distance learning. When school opened for this academic year in September, almost 75% of the students went back to face-to-face. On October 3rd, just last week, almost every student have gone back to face-to-face learning. This is an important milestone for education in Dubai. Ensuring the health and safety for almost more than 300,000 students and about 20,000 teaching staff, it's a huge responsibility. And we can never have done it alone. Our schools were able to reopen because different government entities were able to work together to create policies, procedure, and protocol that protect the health and safety of our community. They were able to reopen because school leaders, teachers, parents, and students followed the protocol to protect themselves and the others around them. The pandemic have shown us the future. It taught us a great deal about the importance of collaboration. It also taught us a lot about the importance of well-being. For a while during the lockdown, we couldn't leave our homes, so it didn't matter what kind of car you had parked in your driveway. It didn't matter what kind of holiday you were planning for. It didn't matter what kind of clothes or jewelry you were owning. What really mattered was that our family and friends were healthy and safe. What really mattered was that we could still talk and see them online. What really mattered was that we were able to find peace within ourselves to counter the storm that was outside. We could have predicted that exams will be canceled. We could have predicted that students would still be able to go to university, and we could have still able to start, or they could still able to start their careers. It turned out education is not really about those things at all. Education is not about preparing the students for a life of tests, but preparing them for the test of life itself. We have just lived through one of the biggest tests of our lives. Our strength, our happiness, our peace of mind, our relationships, our resilience, and our optimism were all tested during the pandemic. It turns out that these are the things that education is all about. We are about to start our 5th and final year of Dubai Student Wellbeing Census. This is a 5-year project that will produce the large cross-cultural data set of students' well-being anywhere in the world. We will use this data to build a culture that improves awareness and practice the well-being of education. We will be sharing this data with the school leaders so that they can make improvement in the well-being of their schools. We will be sharing this data with parents and students so they can better understand the role they play in their own children's well-being. And we will be sharing this data with our friends in the government here and around the world. When we talk about the future and the future innovation, it's important to remember that there will be many different futures. Today, it's up to us to decide what kind we want for ourselves and our children. Whichever future we choose to create, we know that we will only be able to do it when we work together and in our well-being or well-being in our hearts. The stone soap we made will nourish our whole city. I wish you all a very successful event, and thank you for inviting me to be here with you this morning. Shukran jazilan.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for this inspirational speech. And yes, we do agree that Dubai is leading when it comes to education and how things revolve in this city, in the UAE in general. Now we will dig a little bit deeper as well into the education, especially after COVID-19. And as most of you probably do agree that the pandemic has shifted so many trends when it comes to education. So I would like to invite on stage Dr. Vishwajit Rana. He's the founder of the Global Banking School, and he will be moderating the next panel, Paradigm Shift in Learning Due to the Pandemic. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Vishwajit Rana and his panelists.
Assalamu alaikum. Before we start, could we give a round of applause for His Highness Sheikh Sa'd Al-Qasimi? Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Before we start, could we give a round of applause for the great vision of His Highness Sheikh Sa'd Al-Qasimi, His Excellency Adnan Noorani, and certainly what a lovely story and a lesson of collaboration from His Excellency Dr. Karam. So it's a great pleasure when the world is just about to opening up, putting this together from different countries. This kind of conference is very, very helpful to learn from each other, and it's my great honor to lead the panel here. May I request my panelists to come on stage. The format of the panel, we will introduce ourselves, we will dig into what lessons we have learned last 18 months, and is there really a paradigm shift, the lessons we have learned into the future, or is not? And then at the end, we would really like to hear from some of the audience some questions, allocate about 10 minutes so we can do two-way learning from this topic. May I welcome all my panelists, please? Please, and. Thank you. I start myself. So I did my PhD in finance from United States. I spent a decent time on Wall Street advising Fortune 500 clients in mergers and acquisitions, and moved to London after that. I used to be a capitalist on Wall Street, became socialist probably. At the moment, run roughly about 20,000 students, full-time portfolio. We have a higher education, language schools, online corporate training. So it gives a full perspective of what went around last 18 months, and a different business segments actually had to be dealt in a little bit different way. So let me have my next panelist, Dr. Chopra, please.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Ashok Chopra, and I am from Amity University. I work as an associate professor leading the PhD program and member of the research committee. In terms of my background, I'm basically a science graduate with master's and PhD and chartered fellow member of Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport and member of CI, Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply. And I am here for the last 23 years, and the journey has been enormous. I came to work, and I never knew I'll come to academics. So I can only say that whenever you will find something extraordinary, you will find a footprint of a great teacher. I think that's what I can say. Or I can also say one more thing, which is in Hindi, but I'll explain it in English, which says, Guru Gobind doe khade kake lagu pae, balihari Guru ke Gobind diyo milaye, which means teacher and God, both are standing next to each other. I don't know who to bow down first, but I am thankful to my teacher that he gave me the way to reach to the God. So that's what I can say. It's the enormous journey which has transformed my personality from a small salesperson to today a full-fledged professor and contributing to the academics. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alisar Nasr. I am a teacher first and everything else after. I'm currently the Chief Academic Officer at Al Mawakib Schools here in Dubai. Proud that this is a school that saw Dubai come from nothing to where we are today. My father arrived 46 years ago, and this city opened its arms and received us. And so this is home. But first and foremost, I'm a teacher, and then everything else. And my priority in life is always how our students feel, not how our students do. So I'm always concerned with how are they? How are they doing? And I'm a big advocate of conversations, and anything that revolves around improving their well-being is always a priority. So I thank Dr. Karam for bringing that to the point. And I wish you all a wonderful time today.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning, you all. I'm representing actually the new generation. I'm a PhD, I'm an international scaling expert and a serial entrepreneur. I'm on the other side from the education. We are operating in 50 countries, dealing with companies, universities, training centers, businesses around the world. So we selecting their needs, what skills are actual for today, what are the shifts in the educational field as well. So I'll try to share my insights with you, and it's a big honor for me to join in such an incredible lineup of panelists. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I'm Professor Abdulrazak. I'm the president of the American University in the Emirates. I'm the founder of 3 universities, 2 in this country and 1 in my country. My field in accounting and finance. I'm coming from background with education. I have 40 years of experience in education. I'm talking about the university sector. Thank you very much.
العين معتادة الحاجب Professor Muthanna, I worked for him for a year, so it's an honor being on a panel with you. It's such a pleasure. Thank you so much for this. My name is Maya Al-Hawari. I'm the first PhD scholar to research emotional intelligence and its effect on leadership in the MENA region. I'm also a board member with His Highness's office, also the chairperson of the Dubai Carmel School, trained over 900 hours on emotional intelligence, tolerance, positivity to government employees around the United Arab Emirates. It's such a pleasure being here today and looking forward to discussing the paradigm shift that we have had in the past 2 years or so. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Such a great panel to have. I know it's very hard to discuss and resolve everything in 30 minutes, but if you could pick up one from each panel member, what was the unique challenge last 18 months you faced, which probably you think was not that unique to the other institutions around the world? And I start with Dr. Chopra here.
Sure. 23rd March 2020 was the time when the lockdown started. And 23rd was Thursday, I remember. 26th, we were online. So that is the capacity of a human to overcome any challenge. Yes, there was a challenge in communicating the same to the students, explaining them, but thankful to the technology that the shift which happened in the education was never seen by us. And I am proud to say that our university, whole academic staff with all the guidelines of COVID were operational from 1st June 2020. We just closed down for 2 months and 7 days. That's it. So I think there was a huge shift in terms of the way student would learn, the way academics would happen. But that opened a lot of new avenues for so many companies who provided the solution and gave us the platform that we were not away for even a single day as far as academic is concerned. So I think there was a shift, but that shift was taken care very well by the technology people. We are thankful to them. There are so many companies. Today, examinations are happening online. Today, one can see that how you can see a student does not cheat anything thanks to technology using artificial intelligence, which all of us, we are doing it. So I feel the shift was positive. It made us aware that if tomorrow such things come, we are able to fight, we are able to take care of them, and the shift was taken in a very positive sense according to me. That's what I would start my statement with.
For us, and I think for all of the schools of Dubai, the challenge was bringing what you always knew was going to happen. What happened during COVID was it brought backwards plans that should have been in place for any schools. Because the ability to go online, to conduct distance learning, to be able to take care of students while they were at home, academically, emotionally, these were things that we should have foreseen. Our schools were ready for this. We knew this was going to happen eventually, maybe 10 years down the line. But what COVID did was accelerate this, which becomes parallel to what Dubai is always expecting, acceleration. So we accelerated the process and brought it forward. And the challenge was how to find the people who can catch up with Dubai and with us. And you know, once you hear a leader of a country say to you, you know, it took 3 words for us to be okay. And those 3 words were, La tshillun ham. Actually, it's on my face mask. So once he said that, you knew you need to remove your focus, and your shift becomes your mindset first. Your mindset has to shift from, oh, this is a problem, what are we going to do? To, oh, what a great opportunity, let's turn it into something awesome. And so I think all schools rose to the occasion in this glorious city and country. And so the challenges became past the technology. They became how do we turn the technology into something more human, something that doesn't do away with SEL, with social emotion, with the well-being of kids. And so the paradigm shift that we went through became a trigger of what's to come. And so that was the focus, and that remains the focus. So once COVID subsides, and it will, we need to start figuring out what's next in order to be ready.
What we saw actually internationally that the COVID made the technical side and educational side closer in the fastest way, in the faster way. So nobody could say how it would be effective, which instruments would be effective in educational side. So it was about experiments internationally. Every university or school or training center, they just tried to make some experiments to find the best solution. So for today, it's just happened closely. It's about maybe COVID made the changes of educational experience crucial for every educational center or in every country. That's why we are here now, are trying to find the best practices, the best solutions are integrated internationally, just to share with the with each other. Nobody knows exactly 100% the best way of education, but for sure, for today, the integration and the changes in the educational experience is incredible. Yep.
Thank you. It's actually, when we started this COVID, I mean, I can say the shifting for online, it was not an easy. It was a very long story, a lot of challenges. We faced many things to keep the same quality of graduates. It's not an easy to receive instruction from the government to stop teaching face-to-face and move online. Maybe some universities, they have technology, but technology is not enough. The human being who behind the technology, the soldier behind the gun, not the gun or the tank or whatever. So we face a lot of challenges in training both students and faculty members and staff, how to move, how to shift. And our target to graduate leaders. In this country, the rulers, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, always they are saying we need to be number one in all sectors. So we need at the university level not to graduate excellent managers. We need to graduate leaders in their sectors. So how are we going to achieve it with such a crisis? So in this area, all universities really, I can say, they moved in the speed of the light to achieve this vision. No stop in education, and we have limited infrastructure for some universities. I'm talking about the universities, I'm not talking about the schools. And also limited experience in utilizing those softwares, whatever, to move in this direction. And we face a lot of challenges in assessment, which was very difficult. Believe me, when they say that online education, more flexible, more easy, less cost, whatever, because I have read many research done in this area, I disagree. Psychologically speaking, it was very hard for the students. Therefore, we hired many faculty members, okay, or you can say consultant and expert, to just encourage the student to go to this type of education. Some students, they don't have a place to sit in their home to join the lectures. They have only small apartments, 2 children, or a studio, and you can imagine, and they cannot go out. It was really as a, I don't want to say fight or war or whatever, but we were in an operation room. Working 24 hours per day, because students are communicating each second. They call each second, they need advice. So this was the fruit now. You can see, you can harvest the sweet fruit. And one of the sweet fruit, I can tell you, His Highness Sheikh Saqar, he's one of our graduates. And I'm going now to announce one thing, that we will offer him a free scholarship for master degree, and also we will invite him to be as a member of the Board of Trustees if the Deputy Chairman of the Board of Members here is sitting. And we will be very proud to have him with us, because this innovation is one of our core values. We believe in nothing is impossible since the establishment of this university. And this is what the Sheikh Mohammed, he believes. We believe in, we don't have anything, we say, impossible. Never, we don't raise white flag. We are proud what we have done at AUE, and I'm proud also what has Abu Dhabi University, which is my first university when I founded. We have done a lot of things. And even all our programs now being shifted to meet the market demand, because this is the result of this crisis, pandemic. Universities should re-engineer everything to go for graduate leaders in this country. And 2071, if we don't work in the speed of the light, believe me, we cannot achieve the vision of Sheikh Mohammed. So we have to collaborate, we have to organize, we have to come together, schools, universities, colleges, and we have a strategic plan to achieve what we ask to achieve in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Raja.
Okay, so I will come from a different perspective. I will speak as a PhD scholar at Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University. We conducted, and also I will give you within it, my part of it as the chairperson of the Board of Governors at Dubai Carmel School. So as the pandemic started, Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University conducted a survey, a research that was published on how and what is happening within 4 stakeholders: students, parents, teachers, and principals. And they looked, and we looked. I was with a part of the team, and I believe in numbers. And as you rightly said, there were so many positives at the same time. I am a positive person at the end of the day, but there were also challenges that we have to. But I will start with the positives. The positives was that students were actually comfortable, and somehow. Students, and I'm talking about research, private and public schools, from kindergarten to grade or year 13 if it was a British curriculum. So we're talking about private school systems and public school systems, not university. So actually students were comfortable doing their homework in their pajamas, so that was good. It was very difficult though for teachers, because how would you be able to teach kindergartners from afar? So having that said, two main factors were affected. Teachers' well-being, actually. There was this low self-esteem from the teachers. And imagine that principals statistically weren't able to monitor the way they want in their schools. So the 2 lowest factors within this research was the teachers' well-being and how they dealt with the students, and how effective the principals felt that they're able to monitor their schools. But in terms of delivery, education delivery, curriculum delivery, quality, it was shocking to see that both public sector schools and private sector schools were very much similar in numbers, in percentages, in terms of their agreement that they enjoyed the experience, it wasn't all that bad, it was actually productive. Assessment is always an issue, by the way. It is always an issue, the integrity part of it. I remember taking my qualifying exam, my PhD qualifying exam at home, and I actually had to take the camera, the laptop, and view the room so that everybody made sure. And I actually had to do it like a whole 360 degrees so that just to make sure that people, I'm alone in the room. So it is challenging, but I also believe that we have crossed a big milestone. And I look at Corona as a blessing in disguise. I believe that if Corona didn't hit, we wouldn't have jumped light years. I think we'd still be, laid back and, trying. But today we were forced, and that's just the pleasure of the experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I think, as you know, we are in academia and we have a lot of stories to share, so we can go on the whole day, but I need to keep an eye on time. We certainly will have a space for a couple of questions from the audience, so we have about 7 minutes left. But I think as we talk about the learning and teaching and around the well-known academic research, articles, journals, I think you have seen there's enough written about. I think we have learned enough in learning and teaching. I think for me, what is always hard to me is, have we learned anything for the support services, for the student experience? Right? In UK, we have a national student survey. And if you look at it, it's a public document on our office for students, and universities have not performed well. Have we done a good job in the support services in admissions? Have we done a good job in advising related to finance and those kind? have we done a good job in empathy? Have we done a good job in different, when we are trying to advise the students, let's say from a wellness perspective? And I think this is a serious issue of mental health around the world during last 18 months. Doesn't matter we do either the higher education or the school or the short course in executive. And I think this is something need to look at it. And as an organization, either the private or public universities, have we utilized technology enough, I think, to deliver better student experience on those support services? And I think its jury is out there. Probably after 5 years or 10 years, we should look back and see, have we really learned our lessons? But very happy to take any questions from the audience. Please raise your hand. There's a mic going around. I think there's a gentleman there.
Hello, my name's Eric Balance. I'm coming in from Ibiza. I was just in Spain, living around the world for the past 4 years. Grateful to be here. Thank you all for your time. I have a question about the possibility of this paradigm shift in how it can actually be hurting the future of our children in regards to the learning, especially with the element of covering our face, our facial expressions, the body language, especially with children. We know that language is such a small component of communication, and the connection that is happening or not happening when able to communicate. And I think it would be really special for all of you, or one of you, or any of you, to share some of this insight, because I really believe that there is a rhetoric that may not be being addressed to the level of intellect that's actually affecting our future generations and the generations of the children that are coming, in the way they need to also learn from human connection. So
Yes,
I would
thank you, Eric. It's a wonderful question, and I think I would take the views of, we have an expert from the school education, but as Dr. Razak said, I think the assessment has been a significant issue in this learning and teaching, and presentations and the way communications we do is part of the assessment as well. So, but certainly let's hear.
Okay. I hear this a lot lately. Lesser learning. They learned less during the pandemic. And I do not subscribe. Because we need to focus more and give these children credit for what they learned despite the pandemic, instead of focus on what they didn't because of it. So, thank you. Connections are very important, and I am 100% with you, because any schools who do not focus on connections being the base to build any learning are making a mistake. Assessments, in my opinion, sooner or later should become a thing of the past. During COVID, you were given an opportunity as schools to innovate. This is what this is all about, right? We innovated, and many schools other than us did. We do not do assessments during COVID. We invented something called a capstone. And we made our teachers sit with every student alone online and have interviews about what's going on, and let the students decide how they want to be assessed in terms of their knowledge. Include them in the formula. Face masks, all of this takes away a little bit of the body language, but it is a phase. In the end, a lot of kids, maybe what the pandemic did was shown everyone that there is inequity on the planet. And while some of us who are privileged to have access to schooling, to buildings, to schools like we have in the UAE, around the planet, this is not the case. So the pandemic made us all the same. But what you are talking about exists even without the pandemic. There are a lot of kids who do not have access to these connections and these schools around the planet. Wars, refugees, underprivileged communities, you know, accessibility is an even greater topic to discuss in education than just connectivity. But once you establish that access, let's talk, I agree with you 100%. It's about connections. And the first thing a teacher or any educator should be working on is establish that connection and then see what you can derive in terms of learning. And I've stopped referring to it as teaching and learning. And we refer to it as learning and learning. All of us, teachers, principals, companies working with us, all of us, learners. And let's shift, you know, from they didn't learn into what did we do about it. So I don't know if I answered, but I'm not an expert in deciding how it affected, but I think it's very important that we do look at it and we all recalibrate our mindsets to what is important in a school and what should we be doing. Is it really the mathematics and the English? These standards that we set in the 80s, most universities and schools, their standards were set in the 80s, some in the 90s, in the UK, I think 1988, you know? So who said that they are etched in stone and that's what we should be doing? Maybe we need a revolution within that also.
Yes. Thank you. I think unfortunately, we have run out of time, so with the all due respect, if you have any questions, my panelists, I think, would love to hear from you in the back. But with this, may I say thank you to all of you to be in presence and sharing your stories, your views. And at the end, could we please thank our teacher in this world? Thank you. Please. After you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming today. We want to show you huge video, good presentation about our country, United Arab Emirates, how we become from the past to our future. Let's see.
Our legacy started when we discovered the opportunity to build the country for the next generation. And we began safety, knowledge, technologies, innovation. Now the question is, what can we bring to the entire world? The future. Welcome to the Future Innovation Summit.
All right, so yeah, I think this panel on education, the paradigm shifts, is really a very interesting one, and it will determine how the future looks like for our children and to the youth as well. So when we talk about the youth, they are the backbone of any society, and hence they will determine how the future looks like to any society or economy. And today we are privileged to have a very special guest. She dedicated most of her time on empowering the youth. So I would like you to put your hands together to the member of Bahrain Royal Family and chairperson of Sheikha Jawahir Al Khalifa Foundation for Youth Employment, Her Highness Sheikha Jawahir Al Khalifa.
السلام عليكم. It's a pleasure to be with all of you this morning. I see very much familiar faces. I am proud to be a part of this event where they are also here. One of them is my teacher, and I really look up to him. And so thank you for giving me this opportunity, Sheikh Sagar Al-Qasmi. Thank you so much. Honestly, today, and this I just added to my notes, because just seeing this summit start, and it's been a very short time, and seeing these people talking, honestly, to be among brilliant achievers, your excellencies, doctors, CEOs, innovators, people from many different fields. Honestly, I am not here to give you any information after these great minds has spoken. I'm here to find answers to my questions. And my first question to you all is, do you believe in magic? And what do magic has to do with everything we are talking about today? But honestly, is it magic or is it our destiny? What is it? What are we really looking for? You're a normal person. You're just, you're living your very normal life. You either study or you work. And then one day, something hits you in your mind, and you have an innovation. So I would like to give 3 examples of that. The first example is an international example. Mr. Ivan Spiegel, I hope that I'm saying the name correctly. And he is the founder and creator of Snapchat, which is one of the biggest game changers in this in this world. And he created something that was just basically an idea. He believed into it. He had a passion, and he put all his power and energy into it. And now it is one of the most important applications that we have in this world, and we all need it and use it. Another example is Mudathir Sheikha is one of also the founders and creators of Kareem application, which is today also one of the most important applications that are used daily and are competing with big other companies also in the world. And these, finally, I would like to talk about someone who we are all very much proud of, which is Sara Al-Amiri. She's the Minister of State for Advanced Technology here in the UAE. And she is a young woman who has led a great group of people in this country to the mission that when we went to Mars. So basically, how do you achieve all of this, or how do you reach to this point? Again, is it magic? Or is it a destiny? Or what is it? I personally see it as magic. I think it's magical because innovation is something like, it's more of like power. It's power. It's something that you can feel, but you cannot touch. But it will also give you the power to move forward. It will empower your brains. It will take you to somewhere you have never been before. The great part that I really love about innovation is it's not rocket science. It has no rules. It can come anywhere, anytime, in any situation. You can be innovative because out of anger. You can be innovative out of happiness, sickness, need, whatsoever. It has no rules, and it will pop in your mind anytime. Maybe during your sleep, maybe during a flight. It doesn't matter. It matters that when we get the idea or when we get something that comes to us and we create something, what matters is that we put our passion, we put our force and energy into it and try to make it happen. So going back to the panel just earlier, I have also another question. What is the greatest force or the greatest and most powerful force in this world? And I think, in my opinion, again, it's knowledge. And I think without knowledge, we won't move any further. I think knowledge can take nations in a very different advanced level, and it can take us really much below. And I think if I have the power and the magic into me to take a very small piece of every single mind in this room today, I would be the most important innovator in this world. I wish I have like my magic stick and do that, but I think there is another way of doing that. I am very proud to say that we are today in this room very much blessed to be a part of the Innovation Summit, to be a part of great minds coming together and having a very helpful, a very real meeting where we can actually put our minds together and we can actually do something. Because I think every single person had their own lesson to learn during COVID. Whether you've learned that life is precious, or people around you are precious, or knowledge, or education, every single person has their own way of what was learned during COVID and after COVID, and what are we going to do about it. So I think we are really blessed. And I think that if you are blessed and you have a chance like this, then we have to and we must take this chance and take advantage of it. Because after being forced to be apart from each other and from the world and from our normal lives for a very long time, I think it's now we are in a position where we can do much. We can make a difference. And I encourage youth who are just starting their lives. And I can see a lot of young faces in this room. There are many achievers today with us here in this room. There are many big names. There are doctors, CEOs. Take advantage of them. They have had a great journey, and that's why we have them as distinguished guests and very important guests today and tomorrow with us. Take advantage of them, of their knowledge, of their experience, because we don't want to come here and just listen and leave. We want to do something. This is an opportunity that presents itself on a silver platter. Take advantage of it. I think we should join forces. I think we should achieve. I think we should look from maybe 1 month, maybe 1 week, maybe one year from now, we should look back to this summit and know for a fact that we took something out of this place and we have made it happen. I am really curious, as I said, maybe 1 week, 1 year, 1 month from now, to see a game changer that came out of the summit. I think we can do that. Finally, I would like to thank everyone for listening and being very patient. I am usually not very good on stage reading. But I would like to keep you all with a very small message. And I think this is my mission and everyone else's mission. You should be a part of it. Now it's our mission to find who will be our matching puzzle piece in this room. And I think every one of us is a puzzle piece. And we have a matching puzzle piece in this room. In this summit today, tomorrow, I think we should find our matching puzzle piece and take the most out of that. Thank you very much for listening to me.
So Shaykha Jawahar, she said she's not very good on stage. I think she was magnificent. Do you agree with me? Yeah. Thank you, Shaykha, and I'm looking forward for next year, also for this same summit, to be discussing your achievements as well when it comes to empowering the youth. Thank you for this inspiring speech. Ladies and gentlemen, let us take a very short 10 minutes networking break, and then I hope you come back in just 10 minutes because we do have a very interesting presentation as well on drones and the rest of the agenda. So short break and we'll be back.